hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Abba Noah, Shabbat Shemaya, Kodash Haya Shemcha Ahaya, Malakwavka Taba'a, Ratazawanka Haya Aisha, Ba'arataza Kawa, Haya Bashemaya, the thunder Noah, Lakham Kau Yawam, Wasalak Noah, Kawat Waf Noah, Hasalak Noah, Kawat Waf Yanawa Wala'a, Abayak Noah, Anasaya one above, Awashai Noah, Man Rai Kayalaka, Kamalakwa Waha Allah, Ahathapa Ara, La Iwalamya, Aman. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. 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 Amen.
Your blessings fall like rain. Like a tree with no oxygen, like a flower with no water, withering away, like a desert with no rain. Please come save me right away. You are the air I breathe, deliverer of all humanity.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. We're the elders of the Gathered of Christ Church. I'm Elder Rawchaa along with Elder Lawya, here for our weekly Sabbath service. That's right. All praises be to the Most High, Ahaya, Ashah, Ahaya. Before I go into the lesson, let me make an announcement, just like you've seen, with the advert that yes, we have a new Hebrew and Bible Academy that will begin May 22nd. Okay, you're all invited. After the Sabbath, you can actually go online, go to historytimes.org and enroll. All right, we'll have a lot of new lessons that you've never heard before. And what this does is give you the information needed real time when it comes to news, reporting, as well as great lessons that will have us understand the true doctrine of the Bible according to God in these last days. And we hope to see you there. All right. Now, this particular lesson today will segue into where we're going. Where we're going in our first lesson, the creation of the universe, week 1. Okay. where we'll be going into the celestial realm to understand what came to earth in the beginning. There weren't aliens, okay? It wasn't some foreign entity like you see on Star Trek. We're going to go into what happened in the beginning and how the celestial world began to, in this earth, build kingdoms that would rival the image of God, who are people, our people, God's people. And guess what? In the spirit of Christ and God, the children of Israel were born, folks, to judge the fallen, the unrighteous, those that fell in the beginning. And I'll be going into that and more in the academy. Why? Because now there's a transition in which we're now preparing for the world to come. The new heaven, the new earth that will soon, that's right, enter our realm. So it's time to start teaching and give people understanding of that connection between the celestial world and our world, because this world is dying. Okay? We'll soon have a transition. And so I'm going to be talking about that more and more so that our people, brothers and sisters, are not really in the know when it comes to understanding how Christ will return. All right? So I'm going to be talking about that and more in the academy. We're going into portals, the gateways between heaven and earth, and the power through portals. And there's a connection with that in this lesson we'll go into today. Okay? And I hope to see you there. We're going to go into the Ark of the Covenant. More power, because a lot of our brothers and sisters don't understand how we'll be released in fear of all the military power that has been ramped up by all the nations. We think that we're in a weak position compared to the rest of the world, which would keep us under captivity or servitude into perpetuity, when that's not the case at all. If you understand the power that's behind us with our God, you'll know that there's nothing to fear. Okay, so I have to go into the lessons to show brothers and sisters the power we had before the fall. The Ark of the Covenant, how angels enter through portals to talk to the righteous, how we receive the law, statutes, and commandments through 4 portals, that Moses was able to give us the law directly from the heavenly realm. More and more to let you understand what will soon enter our realm to dash the Gentiles to pieces. Now, first and foremost, I would like to say all praises be to the Most High. Again, Ahia, Ahia, the God of Israel, in the name of Yeshua, through the Holy Spirit. Okay. Now, before going into the lesson, let's first do the Hebrew Credo. We do it one time and let's go. Right?
Yes,
let's
sir.
Go.
Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Akkad.
Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Akkad.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. That's right. All right, brothers and sisters, that's right. Get your pen and pads ready. We're going to go into a quick lesson to be edified, so the brothers and sisters can be edified today, okay? Concerning what? They're setting their nest amongst the stars. Okay? Now, this was prophecy that that the powers that be, the Gentile nations who serve idols, would one day work in the earth to use the materials and elements in the earth to go into the cosmos, the stratosphere, and set a nest, which is what? A habitation out in space. Out in space. But why? What's the Bible narrative? Because scientists have been lying to us. Today, you're going to understand why they're setting their nest amongst the stars. Now, brothers and sisters, I don't know if you recognize, but that there's a haze in the sky that's separating us from what's really going on out in space. I remember growing up, used to be able to look into the stars and see movement and the constellations and formulations of clouds. But it's as if The world powers and governments and scientists are working to block us from what's outside of the firmament while they're doing things. While living over in the East, we used to be able to gaze into the sky at night and see the beautiful workings of the Most High, which were the stars, the twinkling stars. And let me tell you, it was like gazing into heaven, seeing angels light the earth. But when you go into these big cities, in Babylon and other areas, it seems as if there's a haze, even at night. There's metals in the sky that's blocking us from actually seeing the sun. What are they concealing? They're concealing a work they're doing out there that they don't want anyone to understand. There's a preparation. That's right. NASA and others are preparing for a celestial war, knowing what's coming back here. Okay? So today we're going to go into that, setting their nest amongst the stars. Now, I have a few videos I want to show real quick. Fair use. Fair use. To show you what scientists are cooking up. Now, Elder Lawya, I need you to go to Titus real quick and give me the info on science. I mean, 1 Timothy. Yes, 1 Timothy. And let's give brothers and sisters first the insight on our scientists today. Read it.
1 Timothy 6, verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust.
So here it is. The apostles were writing to the churches and saying, well, listen, keep that what?
Which is committed to thy trust.
Which is committed to thine trust. Which was the gospel and works of Christ. The understanding of all according to the Son of God. Listen clearly.
Avoiding profane and vain babblings.
Avoiding profane and vain babblings. That's philosophy. Things that has no worth in the true what? In the true narrative or the true construct of earth while we're here. Do not get sidetracked, right? Profane and vain talking. By who? Read.
And oppositions of science.
And what?
And oppositions of science.
And it goes straight into, brothers and sisters, the vain babbling that we'll hear to oppose what? The narrative of the book. Science was set up in this earth to do what? To rival the true God of Israel, to rival the true narrative of the book. Read that last piece again.
Avoiding profane, in fact, I'll start from the top. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoiding profane and vain babblings.
Now, we keep this to our trust, the Bible, Christ, God. We're not supposed to trust science. See how they flipped it? Trust the experts. Trust science. You're not supposed to trust science. Science was set up to oppose the true God and his people. Read.
Avoiding profane and vain babblings, and oppositions of science falsely so called, which some professing have erred concerning the faith.
And this will make you err concerning the faith of God. Science would have us question the Bible's narrative. Science was set up, folks. Modern day science was set up by Satanists so that they can keep us distracted off of our true mission to oppose them. to help them build, that's right, a war on earth, to create a war or an army on earth that would oppose God at the very end. Let's see what's going on. They're setting their nest amongst the stars. Oh yeah. I need y'all to check this out. What's going on out in space? You'll be able to hear it. I'm going to have it loud enough so you can hear it, Elder Rawchaa.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. First and foremost, the Bible tells us not to trust science or scientists. Okay? Straight out. If they parade them on TV and tell them trust the experts, guess what? Christ says don't trust them. Let's read it. Let's look at this real quick. What are we seeing here? What are we witnessing here? Scientists to restart what? CERN. Colliders. The hunt for dark matter. So scientists, folks, are hunting something. Esau, the cunning hunter. Now we're going to find out what dark matter they're out in space attempting to hunt. I wonder who or what is that dark matter? Could it be the same dark matter they're targeting here on Earth? Huh? Scientists to restart the CERN colliders for dark matter as of April 20th, brothers and sisters, while they're blocking out the sky. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. Look at this, fair use. What are they doing?
Yeah, after 3 years of long shutdown, we are all very, very keen on getting the excavator running again. Of course, this comes with a certain sense of tension, nervousness. Is everything going well, and will it all work as we expect? There are always risks when you warm up and cool down a machine from room temperature down to minus 270 degrees, because materials shrink, etc., etc. Did all this go right? And this will only know in the end if the beam goes around. So that's a very, very exciting moment.
Look at this, folks. What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they preparing for,
If you
folks?
look to the sky in the evening, you see this 5% of what's out there, and the other 95% you don't see. And this is for us what we call the black matter. And we hope to be able to discover hints of the existence and how to look for it, also with the LHC.
The CERN Control Center, folks, in a nutshell. When we reported on this in 2011, it was found that the CERN was a part, the missing part that they found for the original Tower of Babel, ancient technology, which is now on grid. But they're distracting us, right? Let's see what's going on. They're distracting us with everything on what we're seeing here on Earth. They're concealing the stars while working to go out into them. More fair use. Science.
The
Satanists.
James Webb Space Telescope a $10 billion observatory that successfully launched into space on Christmas.
$10 billion, folks. $10 billion for nothing? Why are governments coming together and putting so many finances behind what? The heavens. And folks, they launched this on Christmas. See? Nimrod's birthday. Tower of Babel.
The James Webb Space Telescope, a $10 billion observatory that successfully launched into space on Christmas Day last year. Ever since it launched, the world has been waiting to see its first images. Images that, according to NASA, will deliver us a new view of the cosmos. Although we still have to wait a few months until we start to see these unprecedented views,
now, folks, they're telling us that the world been waiting for this. For them to be able to look into the cosmos. Is this something you've been waiting for? He says the world been waiting for this.
Right.
We ducking coals here on Earth. Right? They got us distracted looking at everybody else as the enemy, looking at people with masks on. It looked like one big emergency ward, simple as the days old, and these are the things they're dealing with. The world is distracted.
Gas
right?
prices.
Huh? We're living in crisis right now.
I said gas prices.
Yeah, you look at the gas prices. Yeah.
That's what we focused on.
We focus on $10 a gallon for gas. And they talking about the world have been waiting for this.
Right.
Who are they speaking of in particular while they keeping you distracted, putting people down? Folks, they launched this last Christmas. The same time they were making it out there and making the conversation last Christmas was, is it safe for you to have Christmas dinner with the rest of your family for the pagans who still celebrate it? Okay, that was a conversation for Christmas. Can I sit down with Grandma? Is Grandma contagious?
Right.
Okay, or that was the conversation while they was doing this, brothers and sisters. Now I pause it because for fair use, we have to sometimes interject or whatever, so that if we play it straight through, then those are the rules. But here it is. What were they doing last Christmas on Nimrod's birthday? The same time they were opening up CERN.
Recently, NASA released Webb's first in-focus image of a single bright star, captured as part of a mirror alignment process.
A bright star.
But in the background of this image, if you look carefully, you will see something even more interesting. A taster, if you like, of what this extraordinary telescope is capable of.
Now, what do they need a telescope out in space for, folks? Ha 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 ha. There's some black matter coming, folks.
While some of the largest ground-based telescopes on Earth use segmented primary mirrors, Webb is the first telescope in space to use this design. The 21-foot or 6.5-meter gold-covered mirror was far too big to fit inside of a rocket fairing, however, and so it had to be folded up for launch. After Webb successfully made it into space, the 18 hexagonal beryllium mirror segments that make up the primary mirror then unfolded. But for the telescope to work properly, all of these segments have to be aligned with extraordinary precision. Aligning each segment into one smooth reflecting surface was one of the most important tasks the Webb control team had to tackle since the telescope launched. According to NASA's recent news conference, however, the primary mirror is now fully aligned within a fraction of the width of a human hair and performing even better than expected. Although many other alignment steps and tests need completing before Webb ultimately delivers the new view of the cosmos, this fully focused image is the highest resolution infrared image ever taken from space, providing us with a tiny glimpse of how powerful Webb is. The star at the center is called 2MASS J1755 4042 plus 655
Fair use.
1277. And although it is the brightest thing in the image, emanating streams of light across the universe, it is nothing particularly special. It is just a generic, anonymous star with the right level of brightness used to make sure that the mirror alignment is precise enough.
Oh, could this be an artificial morning star? Could this be an earthy creation to mimic the morning star? See, I'm going to show you how this all ties together, folks. They're outright introducing Lucifer as the god of this world who can shine out in space so that all the earth can see as a god, to be revered as a god. Now, when you put this together with the CERN, something happens. You have the telescope looking out there. They already discovered the portals in 2012 all around the earth. I went into that in the academy. And on top of that now, the morning star, not only is a telescope so that the earth can see that what the world powers under Satan has accomplished to some level what Lucifer promised. That's right. To one day be like a god, to be seen as a star in heaven. I'm going to show y'all this, folks.
A test star, if you like.
A what?
It's what
A what? A what?
the mirror alignment is precise enough. A test star, if you like.
A test star, if you like. Man, when I seen this video just came out a month ago, folks. I was like, whoa. They're bold with this. And the scientists of the earth believe that they're going to accomplish Satan's mission to go out into the stratosphere, into the cosmos, to fight against God. They're looking to take the battle outside of earth into heaven, folks. Everything I'm mentioning right now was prophesied while they have you distracted down here with a cold, looking at each other, bumping into each other, confused out of our minds to how close we are to what? Christ is coming.
It's what is surrounding the star that is interesting, the spray of tiny dots scattered across the background. Because these specks are distant galaxies billions of light years away that have never been observed before. These mysterious distant galaxies make this crystal clear image a so-called deep field image, which is an image that has captured the most distant objects in the universe. The Hubble Space Telescope requires days, sometimes weeks, to obtain some of its most famous deep fields, such as this one, whereas Webb will be able to accomplish the same results in just hours. The James Webb Space Telescope is designed to be 100 times more sensitive than Hubble, but the two observatories do not image in the same wavelengths. Hubble is an expert in mainly visible and ultraviolet radiation, while Webb operates in the realms of infrared. It's important to remember, however, that this is only a test image. The glorious vistas, such as those captured by Hubble over the last 30 years or so, will come later, once the observatory is fully operational. But even though it is a test, it does represent the beginning of what we will soon be observing. The James Webb Space Telescope will allow us to peer back in time and capture the first galaxies that formed only a few 100 million.
Do you see what they're trying to do? This is a perfect segue into the creation of the universe, folks, and the portals of God that we're going to be going into. I'm going to tell you this right now. That's right, folks. They're looking to warp space and time with their machines to be able to go back in time, listen, Listen.
But even though it is a test, it does represent the beginning of what we will soon be observing. The James Webb Space Telescope will allow us to peer back in time and capture the first galaxies that formed only a few 100 million years after the Big Bang.
Now let me go back to that ladder, that arrow, the arrow there.
100 million years after the Big Bang.
Let's go back to that arrow. Hey folks, you see where it says the Big Bang at? The Big Bang is whom the world deems to be God. That's the Big Bang. The Big Bang is when there was a war in the beginning that led to spirits being moved, beings being moved from the sides of the north into this realm. That's right. Dark and void, according to Revelation. According to Genesis, the first chapter, where it was talking about the void and the darkness. The Big Bang is code for God because what? Every action, there's a reaction. You cannot have a Big Bang without someone creating it or something creating it. They're talking about getting back to God.
The first galaxies that formed only a few 100 million years after the Big Bang.
Hold up, I gotta go right into this. I'm going right into it. Let me move this out of the way here. They're setting their nest amongst the stars. They have the whole earth distracted, under sin, and it's to a point where what? There's no resistance on earth against anything they assume at this point. They're in bold. Let me tell you, the scientists are emboldened in their initiatives now. There's no resistance on earth because there's not too many people out there who actually believe the record anymore, the Bible. But does the Bible gives us the understanding of the so-called science you and I today on this Sabbath just viewed? Folks, we as a church been keeping our eyes on this for a long time. You can't be talking about the Most High and Christ and the coming of Christ and not understand how things will unfold on earth and the prophecies of what the world powers would be doing on earth that would lead to what? The battle of Armageddon. I'm going into it right now, folks. Here it is. Setting their nest amongst the stars, and they're doing this right up under our noses. I don't know. You talk to your family members and all that. They, on one level, they just talking about Biden, this, that, and the other, Trump, what's going on with the Ukraine. And guess what? The world powers are laughing at all of the people. They're laughing at you. They're handling their business. Their business is to serve their God and to do what? Set their nest amongst the stars, knowing that time has run out. Time has run out. And we're operating as if it hasn't. Okay? And they're putting all of their life source and spirit behind their God's initiative. But where are we placing our spirit? In our energy. Is our energy going on the right side of justice in preparation for Christ's coming? Because I'll tell you, these scientists, I'm going to tell you, if we were more fervent and zealous as scientists, as the scientists are in accomplishing their mission, we'll be saved already. They're putting their resources, their own lives, their spirit, everything in accomplishing this mission to set their nest among the stars. Let's go, Elder Lawya. Let's go straight to, real quick, Lucifer, the morning star.
Isaiah 14, verse 12.
Come on.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer,
How did you fall, O Lucifer?
son of the morning?
Son of the morning star. Read.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
How did you get cut down to the ground? Who did what?
Weaken the nations.
Satan's mission is to weaken the nations, folks. To weaken us. And not just Israel. All races of people. It's his power to make them weak so that they could do what? Fall into what? A servitude mode. And look at this weakling who was hurled to this earth as a god. To put up mankind in a compromised, weak position when man was made and emboldened by God on earth to one day judge him. Read.
13. For thou hast said in thine heart,
Listen to this.
I will ascend into heaven.
I will do what?
I will ascend into heaven.
I will ascend into heaven. No one understood how this could go down. No one understood the science that would be behind this particular prophecy. The materials in earth that would need to be used with people born in the earth, severed from other people to help him accomplish this. Literally. This is not metaphorical. This is literal. Read that last piece again, Elder Lawyer.
I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
The congregation in the sides of the north are who? Are what? The heavenly hosts. The heavenly hosts. And this is why when they put this telescope in the sky, NASA and others in the world powers who were waiting for this, said they were able to look into what? Look into the cosmos and see stars that the Hubble telescope could not see within 2 hours. Okay? The congregation of God are angels. I will do what?
Verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
I will ascend into heaven. That's over the firmament. Read.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Come on.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Read.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
I will be above the clouds in earth. The clouds are before the firmament, which is the what? The circumference or the sphere around earth, the firmament. Okay? Which separates what? The life in earth from the life outside of it. He said he would go above the clouds. Read.
I will be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High. I will be like the Most High. Now, we all know how this ends. Even the fallen God the world powers worship understands what will come of this satanic plan. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to keep it there real quick. Why are they going out there, folks? Why? Why are they out in space? Elder Lawyer, let's go to Jeremiah 31 and 31 real quick. Why are you out there? Get the precepts, Jeremiah 31 and 31.
Jeremiah 31, verse 31.
Come on.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
What do Israelites have to do with this? Now, there was an old covenant under Moses, right? But it tells us in the prophecies, the prophets, that he would make a new agreement with those same people. Listen.
32. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
I'm going to make a new agreement with the Israelites. And see, the powers that be, the scientists, understands this. Folks, listen to me clearly, folks. This is all about a battle for power. Who will rule this realm? The same realm Esau currently rules. You notice how they said, he showed how they need to put this technology out in space so that they can look back in time and get back to the original spirit that created everything, that caused the Big Bang. They feel that they have the technology through CERN and other technology to get right back to the beginning, to circumvent time, to do what? To change what happened in the beginning, folks. To change what happened. This is how insane this sounds. They have the technology and they believe they can accomplish this. That they can get, because the Most High is the great I am that I am. Time, he's out of time and space. He created that. So they need to get to the point of him in the beginning and try to manipulate time to get to him, to reverse time. And I know how crazy that sounds, but this is what the scientists are trying to do. But what? The Most High said, I'm going to make a new agreement with these people for a purpose. Folks, Israelites on earth with a job to do. I have to make a new agreement with these people. Listen to me clearly. Read.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord.
So not according to the covenant that was made under Moses. So this kill all these other people out there, real quick sidebar, who is trying to claim that they're going to make it just following what Moses conveyed to our people. There's a new agreement. And if you're not under that agreement with the Son, you're not in agreement with God. I don't care if you're an Israelite. If you believe you can only just follow what Moses said and not follow the path according to Christ, you're not a part of the agreement anymore. Okay? Doesn't matter if you're bloodline. I wanted to put that out there real quick as a sidebar. Even in the prophets, the Old Testament, it was stated that the Most High would make a new agreement with the Israelites, not according to the one that was under Moses. So if you're just strictly following Moses and not the tenets and the laws Christ established and the path he made for the kingdom, what are you following? How are your works justified when the old agreement no longer has power? Moses no longer has power. See? It says, I would make a new agreement. Read.
33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel.
Now here's the gift. Here's the agreement like we received by Moses on Mount Sinai. At Mount Sinai. Read.
After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people.
I will write it in their hearts, their minds. They'll be marked. I shall be their God, and they shall be my people. Now, how does this begin? That is a metamorphosis in which we put down sin, baptize, and receive that spirit, that mark. And at that point, it's an agreement. Agreed upon, that's right, from the heavens. When Christ came out of that water, a spirit lighted down on him, and the Most High said, a proclamation before the earth, this is my Son, whom I'm well pleased. before Christ's death, during the transfiguration, the disciples witnessed Christ in the middle with Moses and Elijah on either side. And it says, the disciple says, this is good. We can make 3 tabernacles. No, at the end, the Father said, nah, my son, follow him. He's the one. You cannot make a tabernacle for Moses or Elijah. The straight path. The new covenant. The agreement. The only way to make it to the point of what? You got it. Purpose and rulership after the fall of Edom. Listen to what I'm showing you here. Now, this is in the prophets, what I'm reading here in Jeremiah, that he would make a new agreement. The Most High is bound by his word. When the word goes out, it doesn't come back void, right? Listen to this.
34. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord.
Come on.
For they shall all know me, from the least unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord.
Come on. So that spirit leads us to do what? It brings all things to our remembrance. Right? Now we know the history of what happened to us. The fall of our forefathers. The future according to prophecy. We're living it. Showing it to our children. No longer... And sooner or later, all these churches and all these other things will break down because the powers that be have no more use for them. But it's in our minds now. Right? Come on.
For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
I will forgive the Israelites' iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Which takes away that garbage they're talking about, that God's people, all God's people rejected him and are done away with now, so that he can receive a new people. This scripture utterly eradicates that what? That false doctrine, that replacement theology that came through the Romans, the Jesuits, and the apologetic lies through the Roman Catholic Church. The replacement theology, claiming that God done away with us to replace us with who? Those sinners? Those evildoers? Come on.
35. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day.
Listen to this.
And the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night.
For a what?
For a light by night.
For a light by night out in the stratosphere. When you look out in space, if they allow us to anymore, with them streaming drones all through the air with metals blocking the sky, blocking the stars where you can't even see the moon at night sometimes. But listen to what it's saying here.
Which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name.
The Lord of hosts. The hosts are the angels. Read.
If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord.
If those ordinances depart from me. That means if one day we look up and there's no sun out there, no moon, no stars. Read.
Then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
The children of Israel on earth will cease from being a nation before him forever. See, these are God's words. You think Lucifer and the fallen ones don't understand this? That if they can do something about what's out there, if they can win a war, if they can put out the lights in the sky, our people's prophecy will no longer exist on earth. To one day rule this kingdom according to the promises of Abraham. So I'm going to show you why they're out there, while they're setting their nest among the stars, folks. Because according to the word, the same God who hurled him, who is the word, it's stated in the records, not just in the Bible, but the heavenly tables, that if they can put out the lights outside of the earth, we will no longer exist. Foiling the prophecy of our people ruling again. See? Are you following me here? And they'll make you believe that our people aren't important, insignificant. They understand that it's deeper than just who we are right now. Satan and the fallen ones and the powers who worship them and the scientists understand what we will become. They're getting in front of this thing. They're not trying to wait for this. Understand what the powers that be are doing. They understand it's not about who we are right now. The prophecies have already showed them what we will become if they don't intervene. If they don't try to change us. If they don't change us. If they don't intervene with their chemicals. If they don't intervene with their science. Because we weren't born just to judge the fallen ones. We were born to judge them too. See? So this is an old prophecy from Jeremiah that says, and the Most High said it, and he's daring them here on earth. I'm the Lord of hosts. If you can come up here and put out our light, then I'm doing away with my people. If you can beat me up here, if you can come to where we reside, the sides of the north, and fight and accomplish a war against me, then only will I do away with my people. My people will be my people until what? They stand as kings again. Is what God is proclaiming here. See? They're not teaching us this in church. They're not teaching us. They want us to always be defeated. Reveling in the spirit of what? Victims. Compromised as victims. Sorry, with our hand out like dogs, believing that any blessing should come through them. See? This is the posture, the mindset that they have our people in. When the Most High was like, well, no. I will never do away with my people. I made a promise to their father Abraham. Okay, I made a promise that only if they can come out here. If they can come out here and what? If they can come out here and fight me and defeat me, only then will I put away my people. Right? Read on.
37. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured.
If what?
If heaven above can be measured.
If heaven above can be measured. The Webb telescope that I've just shown you that was launched, folks, last Christmas while we were running around, simple as a days old, talking about a shot in mass and whether or not we can go into a restaurant. They're measuring heaven. It's as if they're at NASA together in the back room with the Bible open and saying, okay, how can we buy time according to their prophecy? How do we buy time? Well, it says here, the scientists are making you believe that they're doing all this stuff, and they got the book open saying, well, it says right here, if we can measure heaven, and if we can stop the stars from shining, that he'll put out his people. He will actually eradicate his people from being the children of Israel. They will no longer have a prophecy. And without these people, we as Gentiles can rule forever. It's as if they are sitting at NASA, Esau, with the Bible open, trying to work their way around this and saying, well, he did say that. Well, where's the technology? Okay, open the CERN collider. Let's go out into space. See? Right? Are y'all following me? Let's set our nest amongst the stars. Right? Y'all need to understand what's going on here, folks. Man, we had our eye on this for a long time. We understand that this thing is way deeper than us. The slave ships and, oh Lord, the white man cut off my foot. we going into captivity. Woe is me. I used to bale cotton. Nah, that's not the gospel. That's low level looking. What the white man did, and one day I'm going to pay the white man back. Nah, we've been looking at this for a long time. That's low level stuff, folks. It's in preparation for what's to come and checking out the science that actually verify that the biblical prophecies are correct. What the scientists are and Satanists would actually be doing right before Christ is coming. They would be setting their nests amongst the stars, deceiving the people, making people believe that they're going to Mars and try to get some red dirt to test if there's water there and all that. And all of our tax money and all that is going to this military apparatus is actually funding a program to fight against God, which is prophecy, to fight against what's out in space. See? But they had to make some bogus excuse. So they came out in the 60s and all that and talking about, yeah, the Eagles just landed. We landed on the moon. You can't land on the moon because the moon moves through portals. The stars doesn't revolve around the sun. All the stars, including the moon and the sun, which are stars, revolves around the earth. There's no way for anyone to get on one of these stinking ships here in the earth, folks. At the 60s, look like they were jumping out of a moped, talking about they landed on the moon. Utterly ridiculous. And how do you know they didn't do that? The technology today is exponentially greater than it was in the 60s. And you would expect it a moon landing every year by now, right? But they needed what? To deceive the earth so that they can actually, folks, explain off all this money that's going into a proverbial black hole, which is what? Space exploration. See? They had to give a tidy excuse of why they're launching satellites and all these things out there. So they lied to the people so that we can just take our tax money and all that and just work towards them building their tower against God to fight against what? The heavenly hosts. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
37. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath.
If they can search out the what?
If the foundations of the earth searched out beneath.
Come on.
I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord.
And then I will cast off all the seed of Israel for all they have done, saith the Lord. So they're on earth looking at us growing, folks. Seeing that the lie through religion no longer works. They've been pushing sin so that we can destroy ourselves, incentivizing sin because why? They hate the prophecy concerning us. It's not as if some of them do, but they don't just hate us personally and all that. There's a reason behind it. The future. They can't see themselves serving the same people they once destroyed, that they once conspired against. And now there's an awakening that and guess what? There's an awakening that none of them can do anything about. That's also prophetic. That's also in this word. So they say, man, how can we do it? They leaving Islam, they leaving the churches. I mean, they're wearing their crowns now. They're wearing mitris. Their God, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, is speaking to his people again. Well, listen, let's get up out of there. Let's get up out of here. Let's get out in space and prepare this war. Because it said if we can search out everything out there, and if we can discover the depths of the earth, what? I will put off them. Then the Most High would fulfill his oath and do what? Read that last piece again, Elder Lawyer.
It says if heaven above can be measured.
If they can measure out in heaven.
And the foundations of the earth searched out beneath.
And they can search out all the earth beneath in measure. Read.
I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord.
And then I'll put all Israel's sins in a balance and judge them for it. Everything they have done, all the wickedness they have done throughout history, not appreciating me, following the enemy against me, fighting against my own people. All of these things can be forgiven. So if Satan and his angels and the scientists can do this, then I'll judge my people for all they have done, and Israel will no longer exist. By default, Esau will rule forever. If this can be accomplished. Read, come on.
Just sit on that.
Now, Elder Lawya, let's go into the book of Job real quick. Now, Lucifer promised that he would get out into the stratosphere, into the cosmos, and be like the Most High, fight against the Almighty. We're going to show you the future of that, concerning that. But let's go to the book of Job real quick.
Yes, sir. Job 38, verse number 31.
Job 38 and 31. Read it.
Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades?
Can you bind the sweet what?
Influences of Pleiades?
Influences of Pleiades, folks. Pleiades is what? Pleiades is a star system leading out into the heavens. Pleiades is a star system. Read that again.
Yes, sir. Job 38, verse 31. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades?
Can you bind the sweet influences of Pleiades? Come on.
Or loose the bands of Orion?
Or loose the bands of Orion? The question is, the answer to that is no. Orion. Can you loose the bands of Orion? What is Orion? Orion, brothers and sisters, are the constellations. These are angels commanded from the heavens to minister to what? Man on earth, to let us know the time and seasons according to the 364-day schedule. These are angels, folks. The heavenly hosts. A celestial equator. Orion is a prominent constellation located on the celestial equator, invisible throughout the world. It is one of the most conspicuous and recognized constellations in the night sky. Greek mythology spoke about this, but the Bible speaks of this. Okay? Now, outright, it's speaking of a constellation, Orion. And when you look at the word Pleiades, so there's no such thing as, folks, planets. They're stars. There's no Saturn. There's no Mars. All of it is a lie. There's stars. Star systems. Constellations. Read that last piece again for me, Elder Lawya, about Pleiades.
Yes, sir. Job 38, verse 31.
Come on.
Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades?
Pleiades. What is Pleiades? Pleiades are a group of more than 800 stars located 410 light years, okay, from Earth in the constellation what they call Taurus. But it's another star system. A star system. Pleiades. Pleiades. A star system. The Pleiades, also known as the seven stars, and other names by different cultures. Different cultures. This is what you see in the sky when the chemtrails aren't blocking them. Angels in their course. Okay? Angels in their course. So when you see the word planets in the Bible, and you look in the Hebrew and compare it to the Hebrew, it's constellations, star systems, doorways that Lucifer had the knowledge of from the beginning as the morning star. There's pathways through all of these star systems. When you go into the knowledge and precepts to break it down, there's pathways to the side of the north. That's right, where the celestial government is established by the Almighty, and Lucifer knows this. But what? The technology in earth would do what? It would take them long periods with regular technology to get there. It was an impossibility unless they can come up with technology that can do what? Bend time to go through the space systems or the star systems at warp speed. At warp speed. This is what they're planning, folks, and they've already turned on the technology. But the problem is, and we've noticed this, and here's the drawback they have on Earth with turning on the technology. It throws the whole Earth out of course. When it comes to weather patterns, storm systems, all of that, in order for them to, when they turn this stuff on, it throws the whole Earth out of whack. And see, and this is why the more they turn this on to get out there, setting their nests among the stars, the more inordinate patterns of weather we'll have, the more earthquakes, the more storms, all of that. And to them, that's just what? That's just an effect, a side effect that they must endure, weighing the alternative, our people rising. So you're going to hear them climate change and all this stuff when really they're turning these machines on, folks, getting ready. The question is, they're getting ready for this fight. But what are we doing? They're getting ready. They know something is coming. I'm going to show you what. Dark matter. Read that last piece again, Elder Rawchaa.
Job 38 verse 31. Canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion?
Come on.
Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his seasons?
Come
or
on.
Canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons?
Now, these are all star systems that scientists know exist. They know these star systems exist, leading directly to what? The heavenly throne. Read.
33. Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven?
Knowest thou the ordinance of heaven? The orders of the heavens? Come on.
Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth? That's it on that.
Can thou set the dominion thereof on earth? So only the Most High, who controls all of these star systems, can do this. And that's why he's stating, can man do this? Can you do that? Y'all can't even get through one star system, and I created them all.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucifer knows what he's up against. He has to trick people into serving him as scientists and incentivizing them to use the technology on earth that's destroying the earth in order for him to get off of it. Setting their nest amongst the stars. Elder Lawya, now let's now go to Job 20. In 20 and 8.
Job 20 verse 8.
Come on.
He shall fly away as a dream.
No, Job 20 and 6, excuse me.
20 and 6. Yes,
20 and 6.
Job 20 verse 6. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens.
Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, mounting up to the heavens, going out in space, read.
And his head reach unto the clouds.
And his head reach unto the clouds, read.
Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he?
Look, the future. And I'm going to go into that a little later in this lesson. It's speaking of Lucifer. It's speaking of the scientists. It's speaking of NASA. Though his excellency mount up like the Tower of Babel, folks, to the heavens, even though they're out there. Even though they are out there using the CERN technology, even though they're out there. Read it again, Elder Lawyer.
Though his excellency mount up to the heavens,
Mount up to the heavens, read.
and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he?
Though they who seen him, that's right, Lucifer is the god of this world. He communicates with the top wizards of this world, the top diplomats of this world, like your Dalai Lama, like your wizard called priest Pope, like your top imams under what? The Islamic faith. He communicates with them, folks. And they're going to look on him and say, what? Read.
Where is he?
Where is he? Where's the guy who deceived us for playing on the wrong team? Where is this character who came here and deceived us into believing that the true God, the God of Israel, the God who sent Christ, didn't exist? And we trusted science over this God? This little cooked up science here on earth. We've deceived ourselves, and without understanding the power of the God of this universe, and sided with a loser. At the very end, they're going to look like, where's this worm at? Where's this serpent? We sided on the wrong team. Right? Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go to the book of Obadiah real quick. The book of Obadiah to show you, Satan's partner in crime. Who would help him set his nest amongst the stars? Or do we even have to pronounce that character? Right? Elder Lloyd, let me show this real quick, if you don't mind. Fair use. Fair use. Fair use.
Discoveries that only help to demonstrate how little we truly know about the universe that surrounds us. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 3 recent scientific discoveries. Scientists are pretty sure they found a portal to the 5th dimension.
It says they found a portal, brothers and sisters, to the 5th dimension.
Scientists believe they may have found more clues to a possible 5th dimension, which helps in trying to find an explanation for dark matter.
To help them find an explanation for dark matter.
Dark matter is hard to detect, as it doesn't emit any visible light or energy. Scientists are adamant that this unseen force is a dominant ingredient that makes up the universe.
There's an unseen force scientists are trying to find. At the same time, as we stated from the beginning, Elder Lawyer, these scientists claim there is no God. Mm-hmm. And does that make any sense? You're looking for something you can't see that you know exists, but use that same framework to question whether or not there is a God. Well, I didn't see him. He didn't exist. But you know dark matter exists and haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. But they know the dark matter is synonymous with what? Doorways. And the powers of the celestial, controlled by God himself. You think they don't know this? Every time you hear scientist, folks, replace the word with Satanist. It'll take it, let me tell you, it'll go a long way for you in making decisions going forward. They put a scientist before you, and the scientists are telling you to do something. Move the word scientist out of the way and replace it with Satanist. It'll help you in making your future decisions.
The supposed fifth dimension is currently understood as a dimension where gravity and electromagnetism combine. This new discovery may not turn out to be as exciting as it might seem at first, but scientists believe it will help us to better understand and observe dark matter in the near future.
In the near future. Now, we're not going to do that. Let's see who's behind some of this. Who's behind this?
And will it all work as we expect? There are always risks when you warm up and cool down a machine from room. Will it all work as we expect?
We hope it work as we expect. Oh, he looks excited, don't he? He looks excited. Who's trying to break bad here on earth against God? Let's go to the book of Obadiah real quick, Elder Lawya.
Obadiah verse 1.
Yeah.
The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom.
Concerning who?
Concerning Edom.
Concerning Edom. See? Because, yeah, that's right. Lucifer have sat down with their high priest, with their government powers, Esau at the helm, and said, well, listen, the only way God will cut off Israel from being a nation if you can help us search out the heavens and war against God and turn off all the lights. If you can help us measure the earth and the heavens, you help us defeat God, then the Most High would put off Israel from being a nation forever according to the ancient prophecy. And by default, Esau, your rulership continues. Will you help me? This is how it works, folks. Okay. We'll spare no expense because why? We have everything to lose. Anyway, if we don't at least try this. we just cannot sit back and allow these people to come back to the knowledge of who they are and begin to follow this Christ who we thought was rid of thousands of years ago. We can't do it. If we leave these people to their own devices, they'll communicate with this God, and at that point, there'll be no chance for us. He'll send the angels through gates to protect them until these same people stand as his people again. And you know they're going to judge us, right? So yeah, this is why this guy, ripping the whole earth together, turning on the machine, looks so excited right now. See? This is why this guy's excited. This Satanist here. See? So, but the Bible gives us an insight on Esau's thoughts. Okay? What happens when eventually you began to follow an insane God? A nutcase. Okay? Straight out. Listen to what I'm going to show you right here. The whole world have turned mad. These scientists believe, brothers and sisters, that they can actually defeat God. Read it.
The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom.
Concerning Edom, come on.
We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Come on.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised.
Now this is the vision of Edom. Read.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Who saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Who's going to stop us? Who can stop us? Read.
Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Though thy, what? Though thy exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thy set thy nest among the stars, read.
Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Thence will I do what?
Bring thee down, saith the Lord.
When you set your nest among the stars, I will begin to bring you down. A lot of you brothers and sisters, you have to go back to see this video, but we're going in of the technology they're using on Earth connected to telescopes in preparation for the war. The celestial war that's actually prophesied out of the Word of God. They have set up a military apparatus on Earth, established in the Earth, using the CERN collider as well as telescopes and all of that. And they've also, folks, those in the academy understand this, found the gateways throughout the whole earth. And I have more information on that for the next academy. In preparation for the war against what? Christ. Christ. Read.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
As the eagle, read.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars, they have made an artificial morning star through this telescope that can be seen, that's going to be seen in the earth when they allow you to, through your chemtrails and everything else. Making a proclamation in the earth that they have assumed this prophecy to put their God or the spirit of their God above the firmament like God. Who's behind this? Who's helping Lucifer? Esau. Esau, folks. Read.
Though thou set thy nest, or though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
At that point, I will begin to bring you down, saith the Almighty. I will begin to bring you down when you start to set your nest among the stars. Now, you have Elon Musk also said that about 5 years ago, Elon Musk was discussing space travel and the technology to do so. Okay? So don't get deceived through Elon Musk. He's the new Satanist that's being used in place of Bill Gates. Now they have used up all the use of Bill Gates, and people can see him, Bill Gates, for who he is and who he always was. A eugenicist. Okay? He's nothing good for any people, not our people either. Okay? He's a top Satanist. Now that they can no longer use Bill Gates, they've replaced him with a new guy by the name of Elon Musk right before you. And he's another guy who is not to be trusted. All right? These are Satanists. Okay? When they use up their tool that no one... And guess what? Bill Gates did a great job for them, establishing all the poisons and everything that's destroying our people. Great job. They're going to phase him out, and they're going to now move in the next guy, the next Satanist. You had Elon Musk. You have the guy who owned Virgin Airlines from England, top Satanists. They were always discussing traveling on the outside and being able to live on the outside of the firmament. And none of us understand religiously what this is. Okay? There's an end game to this. They're not doing this for just exploration or extra finance and setting up some hotels. You cannot set up hotels on other planets because there's no such thing as planets. Talking about, yeah, we're going to have we're going to have little colonies on this star and this moon. And there will be no colonies on Mars. None of that crap exists. They're lying to you, folks. The real narrative is what you're understanding right now here on a Sabbath. On the Sabbath is what you're understanding here. Okay. Now, the reason why they had to set up cities is so that they can have the masses of people under universities to be able to headhunt, to find out who was the high intellect in the earth amongst the rest of the population, so that they can sever them, turn them into scientists that can be used for this initiative in the last days. They needed these cities. These cities, because why? You had to have a condensed number of people to actually pick the high IQ out of the masses. So the cities were being used as what? A picking ground, a choosing ground for the elite minds. Now that they have accomplished all of this, they don't need no more scientists anymore. They must now dismantle the cities. There's no use for them no more. They have accomplished the prophecy, folks. Therefore, that's right. Therefore, leaving the cities expendable. They don't need no new minds anymore. It's what are we going to do about the rest of these people now? They had each age. They had the initial age doing slavery and all that, the farming, which is the labor at the time. They went to the industrial age, right? They moved that, right? And then they moved into the what? The tech age. And what we're going to do all these people? We don't need them no more. We got the minds that were needed to accomplish what? Setting their nest amongst the stars. In preparation for the last war. No, I'm not talking about the Ukraine, Russia. They don't got nothing to do with all that. I'm talking about the real war. They've been ramping up for the real war, folks. The war that actually free God's people once and for all. Okay. And I'm going to show you. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 4.
Come on.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Read.
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
And it's speaking of the mindset of Edom. He will set his nest amongst the stars, and he'll have to rape, rob, and destroy to do so. A thief. A robber. I mean, this guy's he's so bold, he'll steal a whole nationality. Oh, no. I know y'all people. I know who you are. I know y'all moving around and, y'all operating. I know you're from the bloodline of Jacob, but excuse me. No, don't worry about it. We're the people now. We're the Israelites. Okay? We can even steal your nationality. But like, well, hold up, man. I don't know the difference between you and the other guy who's Polish sitting next to you. Or who's from another race. Who's from another part of Europe. Well, you look white to me. Well, we are who we say we are, okay? Okay, we can be anything we want. Can't you tell? Thieves have no what? There's no code of ethics. There's no clear line to define whether or not they move the bar as it goes. They're thieves. They're liars. They can even steal your national origin right in your face and say if you say something about it, it's hate. Thieves. Thieves. And the Bible tells you these are the people that are behind the Satanist agenda to do what? Fight against our God. Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Let's now go to Jeremiah 49 and 16. What do they know according to prophecy is to why they're out in space? And I'm going to go there in a moment. What's coming? Let's see what black matter, the world powers here, fears. The real black matter. Right? Let's go with the lawyer.
Jeremiah 49, verse 16. Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
Esau, your pride have deceived you. The God you served has deceived you. Read.
In the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
You were in Mount Seir. Later, you were in the mountains of what? Georgia, Russia. The Caucasus Mountains. Read that last piece again.
Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, that holdest the heights of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord.
I will bring you down from thence. The whole earth soon will see your space junk, like asteroids, come crashing to the earth. All your space junk is going to come down here first. Your telescopes, the gravity pull of the earth is going to pull it all back. At the same time, that's right, at the same time that every eye shall see, your space junk is coming back here. You think you're going out there, but somebody is coming back here. And it says, the pride of your heart have deceived you, conspired against your brother Jacob up in that echo chamber called caves. Y'all been listening to yourselves too long. And y'all believe your science can defy the God of Israel. But we're going to give you the prophecies on what happens here. Elder Lawyer, let's go to Jeremiah 51:53, because Esau couldn't do it alone. And again, in the academy I'm going into, that's right, I have my records there, I got my books there, and we're going into the nations at the Tower of Babel. Okay, that's going to be a new lesson we're going to go into, because a lot of people don't know what race of people are who right now, in a time in which the earth is promoting the mixture of all people. So what I'm going to do, week 3 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy, I'm going into all the nations of the earth. Genesis 10 and Genesis 11. 9, 10, and 11, and showing all nations of the earth. We're going to pull up their names, and we're going to pull up their faces right next to them. So you can see every race of people in the earth. Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And what we're going to do at the very end of that, Psalms 83, and we're going to show you all the diplomats and the people that are still in the earth representing them, who are conspiring against us today, real time, 2022. You're going to realize it's the same races of people. And they're actually promoting race mixture so that we can identify the gene pool of all races of people who still have what? The same stock and race from the Tower of Babel. Week 3. All nations of people. We have to identify. Don't forget. Paul even stated that end shall not come until that man of sin be revealed. We cannot, if we don't identify the races, we can identify the man of sin. So there will be no question when you go into a supermarket or you go down to a little 5 and 10 store where they got a little beer or whatever. You see a guy with a towel on his head, or you see a Sudanian sitting there, a real dark skin with yellow eyes and all that. And you looking at these people and be like, man, who are these people? you're going to know. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to know every person when you see them. Every race of people in the earth you'll know. We're going to pull it up, their geography and their face. The nation of the man and woman from every race initially before the mixture. Week 3 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy, the nations at the Tower of Babel. Let's identify them all and let's identify the children of Israel. Okay? We need to do that because Esau isn't alone in this conspiracy. He's not by himself. He's just the helm, the head of it. Okay? Now let's go, Elder Lawya.
Jeremiah 51, verse number 53.
Come on.
Though Babylon should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength,
though Babylon shall mount up to heaven, which means, that's right, folks. Esau have recruited the top minds out of all races of people. The Indians, the Chinese, you're going to see them more so being promoted above all people right now because these are straight Satanists. Okay? Their top scientists are Satanists. And they were recruited to show you that's right. Those who are working directly with, before Esau was on the scene, folks, the races who were the original Babylonians have come to the forefront. So now in America, and folks, hey, make no bones about it. Immigration and all that stuff we seeing with all nations coming over, these people are being chosen for a purpose, a political purpose and a religious purpose against our people. Against our people. I'm going to read this and then we're going to take a short break and come right back. Read it.
Yes, sir. Though Babylon should mount up to heaven,
though Babylon shall mount up to heaven,
and though she should fortify the height of her strength,
she will fortify the height of her strength. Read.
Yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith the Lord.
But yet from me spoilers shall come upon her, saith the Most High. The Most High has a plan to spoil theirs. Right? I'm going to tell you, folks, it was written on the heavenly tables, which are the stars, and in the words of the prophets concerning them setting their nests amongst the stars, and eventually the judgment that would come. That's right. In the war against these scientists who have actually set up the technology to fight. I'm going to show you this and more on the other side. The dark matter. What dark matter? You got it. We're going to show you who they're looking for. We'll be right back. One second. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. All right. All right, right back. Current viewers, we got over 3,000. Do us a favor. We're about 1,000 likes down. Just hit it for us real quick. We're about 1,000 likes down. If y'all don't mind, hit the likes. We're going to jump right back in. We're going to jump right back in, brothers and sisters. And yes, as you can see, the Hebrew and Bible Academy will start May 22nd, and we hope to see you all there, okay? May 22nd, all right? All right, let's jump right back in, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Now, Elder Lawyer, let's now get a few of these here. Dark matter. They've set up portals. Right? They've actually set up technology to see what's on the other side to find the dark matter. Right? Interesting. Let's go to Amos 5 and 20 and see if we can break down this dark matter. Let's get that and hold Isaiah 19 and 1 going back to the prophecies.
All right. So Isaiah, Amos 5 and 20.
Yep. Amos 5. Let's start at Amos 5 and
18.
let's start at 18.
Yes, sir. Amos 5, verse 18.
Come on.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
It says, woe unto you who desire the day of the Lord. Because we have so many people out here in churches and mosque and all that who say they believe in Jesus and can't wait for him to return. Woe means destruction. The Bible say, woe to you people out there who are saying that you can't wait for Christ to return. Read.
To what end is it for you?
Because what end is it for you? Have you believed in the true Christ? Huh? Or were you pagan? See? What Christ were you waiting for? The Christ that the Jehovah's Witness taught you? Or the Romans taught you? The Roman Catholic Church? Satanist at the helm of that church? What end is it for you? When you were taught through these religions to come against God's people on earth. You were taught that. Subconsciously, the nations of this earth who are religious look down on black people. You were taught to do that, not realizing that we're the children of God. We're God's chosen. See? So it says, woe to them who are out there teaching the day of the Lord. Can't wait for good old Jesus to come. No, you were taught about a white lily Jesus. You was taught a lie. And with that image comes what? Comes what? Ceremonies and sacrifices to Satan. Read.
Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you?
Come on.
The day of the Lord is darkness.
Is what?
Is darkness.
Oh, they looking for that dark matter, aren't they? The day of the Lord is darkness. Read.
The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
And not light. Read.
As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand up on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not that day, or shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it?
And no brightness in it. Now, why would the Bible state such a good day, the day of our Lord, as a day of darkness? You know why? Because this God is coming to reestablish the righteous. And also was prophesied in the Old Testament records. He's coming to war against all Gentile nations who've established themselves and postured themselves against his people. See? Elder Lawya, let's go get Isaiah 19:1 real quick.
Isaiah 19, verse number 1.
Read it.
The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and he shall come into Egypt. The idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence.
The idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. The idols of Egypt represents what? The idols of the nations, the gods the Gentiles has worshipped. That's right. The Buddhist, the Roman Catholic Church idolatry, and the false gods they call saints worshipped in the church. The Catholic Church, the Buddhas that's worshipped in India and in Asia. So when Christ comes, he's coming to destroy the idols and also the ideology or the mindset that comes with them. Why? Because this is how Satan, through mainstream religion and other religions over the nations, were able to get people to join ranks as scientists, folks, to move on the side of science against God, to do what? Set a war against him, while warring against God's people here in earth. A conspiracy, folks. So, when he comes through the earth, right? I'm going to go back to that. But Elder Lawya, now let's get here. Let's get it. Let's get Revelation 1 and 4, and I need you to finish reading Isaiah 19 down.
Yes, sir. Isaiah 19, verse 1.
Read.
The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence.
Come on.
And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Come on.
And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
So the Most High is going to do what? At one point, in Psalms 83, it talks about them conspiring to war against us. But you reap what you sow. When these nations begin to understand, folks, that they were double-crossed by Esau, there's going to be infighting amongst all the nations right before Christ returns. And this is going to give us what? Leeway to safety while they're fighting one another. I'm going to be talking about that also, right? But let's get straight into the dark matter. Elder Lawya, let's go to Revelation. Let's go to Matthew 24 and 30. Revelation 1. You have it?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Revelation 1 and 7 first.
Revelation 1, verse 7.
Come on.
Behold, He cometh with clouds.
He cometh with clouds. See? Here's the judge. Herein lies the judge who will stop what they're doing here. The dark matter is coming. The day of the Lord is darkness with no light in it. Read.
Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
And every eye shall see him. Read.
And they also which pierced him.
And even the Roman Empire, the people who were behind, piercing him at the cross. See? This is why the Romans have ramped up with their science under Lucifer, under Satan, to set their nests among the stars. They're trying to stave off this prophetic event that was shown to John on the Isle of Patmos. They know he's coming. They know what's on the other side of those portals. Lucifer was at once on the other side. He had access to the throne before Christ was crucified. See? They know what's on the other side and what's coming through those portals. Angels. He's coming on the clouds, and every eye shall see. Now, how will every eye see him? Because the angels from the heavens will lose their light, darkness, and then they'll come through all of the portals in the earth all at once. That's when the light comes on, and people realize at that point that they're up against a black man by the name of Christ. And I hate to be so descriptive, but this is why it says, woe to them that desire the day of the Lord. What end is it for you? When you realize the people that you've been destroying, killing, treating like nothing are the same people, the same person you killed 2,000 years ago on a crucifix. Almost 2,000 years ago on a crucifix. What end is it for you when that black matter comes through and you realize, hold up, he's not exactly what the world taught me he was. Okay? It says he's coming on the clouds and every eye shall see him. Now listen, to be fair, and I'm going to be straight out. If Christ was a white man, I would follow him. Let me make it clear. If he were Chinese, I would believe in him. Let me make it clear. And to prove to you that if he was white, we would follow him. When we thought he was white, we taught of him. We upheld his principles. So it's not a race thing for us. It's a race thing for you people. Okay? It's really a race thing for you. We're just setting the record straight. Okay? Finish reading the point that I wanted to bring out, Elder Lawyer. Read.
Yes, sir. Revelation 1 verse 7.
Read.
Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
Shall see him. Read.
And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him.
And all kindreds of the earth shall wail. Be what?
Because of him.
Because of him. Why the earth wailing? I thought you were waiting for Christ to come. Woe to them who desire the day of the Lord, for what end is it for you? There's darkness and no light in it. You're going to realize the true Christ, with the purpose of raising his people, was never taught within the earth, within the earth's theology. You're going to find that out. And that's right. The people will what? Will wail because of him. All the United Nations and the people that are getting together to so-called bring forth this new world order, they know what they're up against. I'm going to tell you this right now. They know that they're preparing for the final war before God's people are established in the earth again. They know it. They're going to mourn when they see all their space junk come crashing back to the earth. Through the same portals and all that stuff they're opening right now, guess what? Something's going to come through them. Something is coming through. And that's when they're going to mourn. Okay? Elder Lawya, now let's get real quick, if we may. Let's get Numbers 24 and 17 out of the prophets. And before that, let's get Psalms 97 and 2.
Psalms 97, verse 2. Clouds and darkness are round about him. Righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne.
It says he cometh with clouds. Read it again.
Clouds and darkness are round about him.
Clouds and darkness are round about him. Read.
Righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne.
Righteousness and what?
And judgment.
And judgment
are the habitation of his throne.
Is the habitation of his throne. Here's the darkness your scientists are talking about, folks. The celestial coming into what? Into view for the whole earth to understand what's really out there. Christ and his angels are coming through. Outright. And then what? Elder Lawya, I need you to get to Matthew 24 and 30 first. Then we're going to show you what will happen upon his return.
Matthew 24, verse 30.
Read it.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
The sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
And all of the tribes, all of the races of the earth will mourn. Oh, I thought there's billions of Christians. I thought you were waiting for Christ to come back. Why mourn? Why mourn, folks? Because the Tower of Babel will be broken permanently. I'm going to tell you this right now. The nations who have conspired themselves against our people, that conspiracy will be founded and judged by what? The dark matter, Christ. It says the tribes of the what? The tribes of the people will mourn. It's talking about the races of people who've aligned themselves against God's people. Right? Elder Lawya, let's go to Numbers 24 and 17.
Numbers 24, verse 17, just finishing out verse 30.
Read it.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven. Read.
With power and great glory.
With power and great glory. To reestablish righteousness on earth, folks. This is what the New World Order has ramped up against. It's trying to ramp up against, knowing that they have a short time. They know this prophecy. They know this prophecy, folks, will unfold. And their scientists are preparing for this. So it doesn't matter if you believe in the Bible or not. Your scientists do. Your elite powers do. Your governments know that the Bible prophecies are correct. Doesn't matter if you believe in it or not. They do. And that's why they're preparing the final war, And I'm going into that, obviously, this coming Sunday, Judgment of the Nations. This is our last week of the Academy, week 12, and I'll be going into the Judgment of the Nations. And that's right, the fall of all races of people and the rise. And subsequent to that, almost the same time, the rise of the children of Israel. And the whole earth should want Israel to rise, our people to rise. Why? Because if we don't, there'll be nothing left in the earth. There'll be nothing. The Satanists have taken over. And if our people don't come into power to actually pronounce and bring forth the prophecy of this kingdom, no flesh would be saved. Christ is coming to save us out of this, but he needs Israelites, all people, to stand up and proclaim the true gospel. You better thank the Most High that we're the people, because no other race of people out here are telling the truth. You better be glad the Israelites have the Most High have risen us out of the grave from the dust to proclaim the day of our Lord. But why are the nations mourning? Why are they mourning? Why would they mourn upon the coming of our Lord and Savior? You know why? Because like Paul said, through our fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles. And what is salvation for them? Power and riches. Dominion over God's people for a time. So when you think about salvation, how they teaching it in the church, that's incorrect. It's incorrect. When you go to Romans 11, as a matter of fact, go there, Elder Lawya. It tells us what salvation for the nations are. The reason why they're going to be mourning, because they'll no longer have power over God's people. They're going to be put in their proper place according to what? According to how it was intended before our fall. Before the fall of Israel. We as a people weren't born to serve other races of people. This is the curse. Romans 11 and 11, Elder Lawya, read it.
Romans 11, verse 11.
Read it.
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Have we stumbled as a people that we should fall?
God forbid.
No.
But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
Now, what is salvation according to the Bible? Read.
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
If the fall of Israel be the what?
The riches of the world.
Be the what?
The riches of the world.
So this is why the nations will mourn. Through our fall, the whole earth got rich. We worked to build all of their empires, their stock markets, their buildings, what they trade in the earth. The Vatican itself was built off of what? That's right, the gold and all of the materials that came from the temple. That's right. They raided the temple in 70 AD, and they used all of those gold and riches from our people to build their what? Their Wizard of Oz called the Vatican. Their Wizard of Oz lair called the Vatican. And it was through our fall, all the nations got rich. This is why they're going to be mourning, because when Christ comes through, they at that point, they'll realize the gig's up. They weren't able to do what? Set their nests among the stars like they planned and travel into the cosmos. They weren't able to search out the earth so that God would rid us for the sins of our forefathers. They're going to realize what? That's right, folks. There's no way out of this. They're going to understand there's no way out, and they didn't do anything, I'm speaking of the Gentiles, to prepare themselves for that day. They were so ramped up against us and just living their lives, they didn't realize that a reckoning was coming for them. If the Most High can judge his own people for the sins we have done, what do you think he's going to do to the other races of people who have defied him, lied on him, and at the same time destroyed his people? What do you think? Finish reading what you have, Brother Lawya. Just that one piece again.
Yes, sir. Romans 11, verse number 12.
Come on.
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
So that's salvation according to the Bible for the Gentiles. They got rich through our fall. Read.
And the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles.
The less we receive, the more they were able to measure how rich they were by how poor we are. We were. They're able to measure how rich they are by how poor we are. That's how they measure riches, folks. As we diminish, the nations get rich. They're under their salvation. This is why they're going to mourn. No slaves, no servants, no kingdom. Read.
And the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
How much more when the Most High established us as the people? This is why they're going to mourn when the dark matter comes through. They did nothing to prepare themselves for an instant change on earth. A change where what? Dominion is moved off of Esau and is given to his little brother Jacob. Matthew 24 and 22, Elder Lawyer, read it. And let's go to Numbers 24 and 17.
St. Matthew 24, verse 22.
Come on.
And except those days should be shortened.
And except the days that they have to rule, Esau have to rule, be shortened.
There should no flesh be saved.
No one would make it through. None of us. Not even the nations. Satan is looking to destroy everyone, including the races outside of Israelites. Read.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
But for the elect's sake, Christ is coming sooner than what they've prepared for. Than the time they prepared for. Because Lucifer and his scientists know exactly how much time they have. According to the prophecies in the beginning. Okay? The prophecies in the beginning broke it down. That it will be a 6,000 year period from the sin of Adam before the fallen ones would be judged. So Christ had to cut that time short, or none of us would be left, including the races who are helping Lucifer. Numbers 24 and 17, Elder Lawyer.
Numbers 24, verse 17.
Read.
I shall see him, but not now.
I shall see him, but not now.
I shall behold him, but not nigh.
I shall behold him, but not nigh, which means it's later. This is going to happen. This is a prophecy. Read.
There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth.
See that? A star shall arise out of what?
There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth.
All the people who have what? Conspired against our people. The corners of Moab are the areas from whence Esau is ruling right now in the Middle East. And that's why he says, I shall see it, but not nigh. Here's a future prophecy of our God sending Christ to war against Esau in the Middle East. In our land, claiming to be us. He will smite the corners, of these Satanists from the synagogue of Satan. And the scientists, like you see the Webb telescope, as well as the Hubble telescope. These people come from a certain religious persuasion, an antichrist religion. These are the scientists who they claim have the high IQs above everyone else. Well, guess what, folks? It's prophesied that that land they're warring over, in that same place, they'll be judged. Okay? That I'm saying as much as I can, knowing these rules here on these platforms now, right? You can't even speak, you can't even call out who's actually doing the evil in the earth anymore. Now, let's go to Revelation 6:15.
Revelation 6, verse 15.
Read it.
And the kings of the earth, and great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
So what's going to happen upon Christ's coming? Let's go a few verses before that.
Yes, sir. Verse number 12.
Read. This is what's going to happen, folks. And this is why your elite powers are storing food and dry goods and all that in mountains right now. Let's read it again, Elder Lawyer, if you may.
Yes, sir. Revelation 6 and 12.
Read.
And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood.
Come on.
And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth.
The stars of heaven fell unto the earth. This is what? The luminaries, brothers and sisters, turn in form to come back with Christ for judgment. Darkness, no light in it. Read.
And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men.
Here it is, all your government powers, all those that are in position of dominion, making decisions for you on earth. Read.
And every bondman and every freeman hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
People are going to be running into the mountains for refuge, folks. This is why in Washington, D.C. and other areas all around the earth, they have underground layers under some of these mountains with a lot of food storage and all that, believing that they're going to weather this storm. The storm is Christ's return, folks. Read.
16. And said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne.
Whoa! Save us from what?
Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Why didn't you serve the Lamb? Why didn't you believe in the Lamb when there was time? Gentiles. Why did you fight against the Lamb? Why did you fight against his children when you had time to repent, to bless the children of Israel instead of cursing them? This is why the Gentiles will mourn. There's billions of Christians, folks, out there who believe they're serving the real Christ. And in real time, they walk outside of their churches and treat our people like dirt. Not realizing you're fighting against Christ by doing what? Fighting and destroying his people. So all of you running into mountains and doing all these things, there'll be no refuge. The mountains will obey the word of Christ and fall on you. You're not making a place of refuge to come out later. You know what you have done? You have dug your own tombs. That's what you have done. The mountains will follow the command of our Christ and fall on you and destroy everything you preserved for the future. Okay? Now let's get it again. And that's why even Gentiles, it's time for you to walk away from modern day religion and come under the true gospel of Christ. Revelation 19 and 11. 11 and 19. Oh, no, it's 19 and 11. Let's get that. Did you read down to the 17th verse?
No, sir.
Let's go all the way to the 17th verse and we'll end it in Revelation 19.
Revelation 6, verse 17.
Yeah.
For the great day of his wrath is come.
For the great day of his wrath, what?
Is come.
Is come. Read.
And who shall be able to stand?
And who shall be able to stand against it? All your idols will be totally taken down. When the Vatican up in the Middle East, all your idols going to fall at once. That's right, folks. We're talking about them setting their nests among the stars, and who's going to bring their junk back to earth? Christ. Elder Lawyer, let's now go here. Before you go there, I only got a few more. Let's go to let's read Revelations 19 and 11. Let's read it.
Revelation 19, verse 11.
Read.
And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Come on.
And in righteousness doeth he judge and make war.
And through righteousness, he will judge and make war. That's right, folks. NASA is a military apparatus. Y'all didn't know that? All that's connected to military. They're preparing for a war. A prophetic war. See? Christ is coming through what? Christ is coming through the clouds. He's coming through these portals. All of the angels. And with him, judgment. Okay? Judgment against the nations who have always conspired against him, our people. And there's going to be another judgment. A righteous judgment for those who've endured, followed his word, and stood with his word against all odds. Being deemed an enemy throughout the earth. You will be rewarded with a judgment for rulership on the other side. Read.
And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse.
Yep.
And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness doeth he judge and make war.
And through righteousness, he will do what?
And in righteousness doeth he judge and make war.
Judge and make war. Here's your dark matter that your scientists are looking for, brothers and sisters. At the same time, trying to convince you that the Bible isn't real. Okay? When they're preparing a war in which that the actual Bible prophesied. They're physically using their science in preparation for this, while telling us that God doesn't exist. Right? Mm-hmm. Finish reading what you have there, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Revelation 19, verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire.
His eyes were as a flame of fire.
And on his head were many crowns.
And on his head was many crowns.
And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
And when he come back, he's going to reveal the name that he has upon his return. But up until that time, his name is Savior. Yeshua is his name. And at that time, he's going to reveal the name given to him by the Father. For those who would do what? Be established as what? Leaders, and those who would serve in his kingdom. The scientists and all that, folks, NASA, Russia, don't believe the narrative they're giving you about what's going on over in that. Yeah, Biden's going to finance Ukraine and all. They're diverting you from what's really going on, folks. All of the Gentile nations are in this together and ramping up with time against them for the war we're reading here in the Bible. That's what's really going on. So the question is, what side will we be on upon his return? And that's why Christ said that we cannot be taken as if a thief came at night. He's coming like a thief in the night. That means what? If you know there's thieves out there, you would have prepared before he came, they came through and did what they needed to do. So there must be some preparations on our side, knowing that he's going to cut his time short and he's coming as a thief in the night. One day we're going to look up, and this stuff is not going to be televised because all this crap is going to be all this technology is going to come to earth. Satellites and all that stuff going to come crashing to earth. There will be no internet. There will be no TVs. It's going to be just like it was before all this technology. It's going to come crashing to the earth. And then the light going to come on. It's going to come on all at once. And yeah, the Gentile nation shall mourn. They're going to be like, uh-oh, he's here. Right? Mm-hmm. Last but not least, Elder Lawya, there's one more. Let's get the one out of the Apocrypha, where he weaved himself a mountain.
All right, 2nd Ezra 13.
Yep.
And verse 1. Revelation 13, verse 1.
Yep.
And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night.
We're in the Apocrypha here, read.
And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
That man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Here's your dark matter. Read.
And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice.
All they burned that heard his voice. Now, I would like to go here because Christians try to claim, Christian deceivers, theologians, and apologetics try to claim that we shouldn't read the Apocrypha because it isn't spiritually inspired. That there's no prophecy in the New Testament that actually quotes the Apocrypha. That's their lie. That's their claim. Well, Christ coming on the clouds and judging the earth, that actual teaching from Matthew 24 is right here in what? 2nd Ezra. We're reading it. We're reading it. So they say you can't read that because there's no place where they quoted the Apocrypha. Liars. What we read, that's right, in Matthew 24 is actually highlighted more so in 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra 13, right? And on top of that, this was about what? 5, that's right, centuries, 500 years before Christ was even born. This was prophesied. So, but why are they working to try to discredit the Apocrypha? You know why? Because the Apocrypha brings all things into view. It completes the Bible. That's why. And it tear down their false doctrines and lies. But we'll be going into that more in school, right? But let's go.
Yes, sir. Jumping down to verse 25. This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea.
Here is the vision.
The same is he whom God the highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature.
He shall deliver his creature, the chosen. Read.
And he shall order them that are left behind.
And he shall order them which are left behind. Which means we're not supposed to be looking forward to a rapture. The prophecy is you're to be the righteous who are left behind and who have endured unto the end. The Jesuits has turned that left behind into a bad thing. You were left behind because you were evil and you didn't give your life to Christ, and the good people were raptured. Folks, that's fiction. That comes directly from the Jesuits to deceive people concerning Christ's coming. You want to be the one left behind. Because those that were taken are those who were evil, like the evil before the flood. You want to be the one, brothers and sisters, left behind. That means you've endured through it all. See? Read.
Verse 27. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him.
Come on.
This is the interpretation.
Here's the interpretation.
Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth.
He will begin to deliver our people. Brothers and sisters, you can actually have a sigh of relief knowing that the condition that we've been predisposed to isn't permanent. It's temporal through a curse. The only thing we have to do is what? We have to actually, brothers and sisters, do all what we can control by first following God's law and doing what's right. We're not predisposed to following these nations. Straight out. According to prophecy, he will do what? Read it.
It says, and whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth came fire, it says, came a blast of wind and fire and storm.
Come on.
And that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him.
Come on.
Here's the interpretation.
Here's the interpretation. Read.
Behold, the days come, saith the Most High, or when the Most High
That's it.
will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth.
It was prophesied that we wouldn't be in this condition forever. That he would begin to deliver those who were his people. And begin to establish us according to the promises given to our fathers. See, what we're teaching here, folks, is really the true gospel that the disciples were teaching. That the Romans aren't going to rule forever. One day we will stand in the promise of Abraham and see Esau and the Gentiles who tried to set their nests among the stars judged. There's no place to run. They're not getting on the outside of this. They're not going to be able to run out into space anyway. None of that. Their judgment is here. This is where they destroy God's people. This is where they defy the true God and try to claim he didn't exist through their lying science. Okay? They executed their deceit on earth, and on the earth they'll be judged by dark matter. Here he is. Come on.
Verse 30. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another.
One realm against another, right? Read.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
And at that point, when you see in all this happen, race against race, confusion of faces, people fighting against each other, and all of a sudden out of that, something will appear. While everyone is distracted with everything else, what will happen? He'll appear. Read.
33.
And another thing, I want to say this. We shouldn't get wrapped up into anything that they're pushing out there on the news concerning what nation should be supported under any war. We shouldn't feel sorry for any war or on either side when it comes to what? Russia against this and that country. We shouldn't have no sympathy or spend 1 cent towards any of it. And I'm going to say this because there's been a war against God's people outright that none of the nations ever sympathized for. That we have never had any sympathy with all of the nations warring against us. And now they're tearing each other apart according to prophecy. They want us to feel sorry about what's going on in Ukraine or this, that, no. We could care less about your wars. If you got billions of dollars to send to another country that have nothing to do with us, you have $1 billion to go into the inner cities and tell our people the truth and clean up our cities and help our people. Mm-hmm. So we're not supporting no war until y'all start speaking about the war y'all continually execute against our people. Mm-hmm. I could care less about what's going on over there. tear each other up as far as we're concerned. We could care less. Okay? Because the Bible says y'all will be doing this right before Christ returns.
Right.
And this is what happens. If you can do this to God's people, eventually y'all going to start just fighting each other. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
33.
Come on.
And when all the people shall hear his voice, every man in their own land shall leave the battle they have one against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
So all of the nations at the very end, folks, are going to join together in their armies, with their armies to fight against Christ. See? Read.
35. But he shall stand upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come, and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven with thy hands. And this is my my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions.
Who is it?
And this my son.
And this my son, Christ, the dark matter, folks. Shall what?
Shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations.
Shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations. The wicked inventions, CERN, your telescopes, your technology to look into portals, all of that. NASA, your space travel technology, all of it will be destroyed. See? It was prophesied. Read that last piece.
And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations.
The wicked inventions of those nations. Read.
Which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest.
Come on.
And shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented.
Now, it's going to all come to thought when the Most High smash you, when Christ smash you. Then it's going to come to your mind all the opportunities God gave you to repent, to change your ways. Nah, but your evil heart led you into a war against God himself. And that's where your heart would lead you. There's only two masters. Either you'll love one or hate the other. And if you love the God that's behind scientists, you will hate the God who created all exist. And begin to have what? Indignation and hatred towards God. And this is going to be the spirit that moves you into what? Evil, wickedness, into science to defy him. So at that point, it's going to come into your thought. You're going to be, man, how could I have defied such a power? Why didn't I give my life to Christ when the opportunity was there? See? That's when it's going to come to your thoughts. Right before you go into the chambers of torment, down with the fallen ones who were bound there before the flood. And guess what? These nations who died, the Most High is going to swallow these armies up the same way he did the disobedient during that rebellion against Moses. They're going to be swallowed up, these armies. Read it. Come on.
And shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor.
Without labor. Guess what? It's not even going to be any effort. All this technology and money you put behind your CERN and all these others, your telescopes to look into the stars and all of that. Christ is going to destroy you without labor. It's not even going to be, it's without effort. All the armies of the earth broken at once. No army, no military. You know what, folks? No more nations to fear for the children of Israel. Freedom. What are we reading? Real freedom. Read.
And he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto fire.
That's the judgment given to them. Don't forget, at the very end, he's going to be judging brothers and sisters. And all nations with the same law y'all claim was done away with. See? Steal, kill, fornication, not dealing with the Sabbath, on and on and on, coveting what is thy neighbor's. All of these things that we knew was right. We knew that these laws were right in our conscience. And you don't need to be a part of religion to know this, to know how to treat your fellow man. And we're going to be judged according to that. Christ is going to judge the conscience of all men at this point. Read on. With that, nice book. With that, that concludes our broadcast for today. Setting their nest among the stars, letting y'all know, folks, the same time they're putting these metals in the air, they're doing all this stuff where you can't really see past the haze. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. There's a lot of things going on, and they turned on CERN and this telescope last Christmas as a star that can look into what? Into the heavens to look past the star systems that the Bible speaks of. They're setting their nest among the stars, and you know what? By doing so, the Most High is going to speed up his time against them. He's giving them less time because why? If Christ doesn't intervene, none of us will be left. Okay? We're in the last leg of Esau's rulership. We're at the very end of it. And while they got you distracted, fighting against one another, guess what? They are ramping up a war against our Father, against our Christ. So the question is, knowing how close we are, Jew and Gentile alike, what side of the judgment will you fall on? Okay? Woe to them that desire the day of the Lord. For what end is it for you? They're up there, but soon their junk will come falling back here, folks. So it's time while there's an opportunity, whether you be an Israelite or whether or not you be a Gentile. If you're a Gentile working in some type of science or as a doctor in one of these hospitals and you're working against God's people, you best repent and get on the right side of this. You're sealing your own fate through science. With that, I'm going to say shalom. May the Most High be with you all and stay on the right side of judgment, brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. We as a people, we as those who believe in God in this Bible must do right. No matter what they're doing, God has them. He sees what they're doing. Mm-hmm. He see what they're doing. But you can be hedged and protected from these psychopaths that are on a trajectory to hell. All right. You can be saved, but we must do what? Leave off from sin, follow the commandments, get baptized in the name of Christ, and receive that gift, the seal through the Holy Spirit. We must receive that gift in our conscience that will guide us into the wilderness in due time. Okay? With that, we're going to say shalom. It's been a great lesson, and I just want to let y'all know, I don't care what they're putting out there. We're going to always show you what they're doing, what they're doing behind closed doors, what's not being publicized in the news, okay? We're going to always be a step ahead and say, well, they got you running around here looking this way. Here's what's really going on according to prophecy. And that's how we must be continually as watchmen according to the word. With that, we're going to say shalom. I'll see you all in the academy tomorrow, brothers and sisters. Yes, I will. We're going into the judgment of the nations tomorrow, week 12. It's the last week of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. We're done for 3 months. The full 3 months will be complete. And then next week will be the test for the brothers and sisters who are in it. You can test yourselves, and we're going to have a few caveats to give you who are able to sustain throughout the full 3 months. We have something for you on the other end, some of you. And we appreciate all those who support the Hebrew and Bible Academy. But hey, folks, you brothers and sisters who missed this, and you did miss a good one, there's nothing to fret about. The enrollments are now open. Okay, it's now open where we can put the administration up there for 24 hours to actually filter through all the enrollments and get you in before May 22nd. So here's your opportunity if you haven't enrolled already. Go to historytimes.org. This is a way in which you can help support what we do, and we can give you all the information that will show you the true doctrine of this Bible so you can understand it and teach it to others. Teach the truth of the Bible to your family and spread the true information outside of what? Controlled theology that have put our people in bondage, in spiritual bondage. The Academy is an opportunity for you to actually understand that Bible real time the way you're supposed to, literally. Okay? Also, again, you go to historytimes.org, enroll there, and you receive your welcome packet. Just give us some time because it may take us a few days, but we will respond back with a welcome into the Academy. We have people working on standby. And again, if you haven't been in the Academy, you are missing it. Okay. Right now, we had upward over 3,000 people. We have over 3,000. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your attendance. And here it is, what we expect. Listen, even if half of the people who've witnessed this today enroll, that will be a blessing. Okay. If half of the people that's in the day go to historytimes.org, you're helping us do the work, and we're preparing everything we can, knowing that some rough times are coming, but the Most High has given us some insight on what to do in preparation for food shortages and all these other things. The support you do now can help us on the other end to be in a position to help our people in due time, okay? So stuff like this really helps. So make sure you go to historytimes.org, enroll, and help us in the Academy. And if you're interested in joining the body in your respective areas, send us an email, gatheringasone@aol.com. We'll have a regional elder reach out to you and make it where you can have, more security and a greater refuge amongst a body around your locale. Okay, we'll do everything we can to link you in regionally with a church, because it's time for us to gather together, congregate, and pray together as a people. And it doesn't matter if you are an Israelite or a Gentile, okay? Or you may think you are a Gentile. Who knows? The gospel of Christ and the word of God is for all. It's for all people. Okay? With that, I'm going to say shalom, brothers and sisters. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Zion. Thank you, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. historytimes.org. Shalom.
I've been living at the bottom with my hand on your heel. When I want strong enough to put my hand on your ear. And nobody knows me better than my nostrils. So when I say something, boy, best believe I prosper. Ariaka Ball came and caught him off a girl while you was drunk off of alcohol, partying like a star. That money tree scared cause he saw me with a saw. Standing tall, trying to cut you down. Sorry, I'm in charge. You messing with the line rat. This ain't no scared cat. Try to catch me unexpected, baby. I'm expecting that. Bet you that you don't wanna come down to my level. I'ma humble you. You don't walk around with a shovel. You don't regard the poor, probably why they wanna jack you. They tired of bird feet. Scraps probably wanna crack or rob the earth for a work. You would think that this food fine. Now you're traveling the space to go and steal a moonshine, but I'ma bring you down.